Okay, guys, give me a good, clean fight. Touch gloves. Good luck.
All right, so here you have it. Estevan Payan taking on Yahir Reyes. A spot in the Bellator featherweight tournament final on June 5th is on the line, as is $50,000. A huge opportunity on the United States mixed martial arts landscape for both of these fighters here tonight. We'll see who takes advantage. All right, the touch of the gloves, and we are underway with the Bellator featherweight semifinals. Estevan Payan on the left side of your screen, Yahir Reyes on the right.
Estevan Payan, I was talking to the Lallies there, and again, I don't know which one I was talking to, but he said he walks around at about 180 pounds, which is huge for a 145er. So I'm assuming right now he's at least 160, 165, if not closer to 170.
And Yahir Reyes isn't small for a featherweight either, but you see the size advantage still for Payan, right?
Yeah, both guys, 5'10", 5'11", respectively, and it definitely looks that Payan is a little thicker, bigger frame than Reyes, but not sure that that's going to play a huge factor here. Both guys have a great reach, comfortable slugging it out on their feet. Nice body kick there by Payan.
Now in Payan's featherweight quarterfinal against Luis Palomino, had a great first round, especially the end of it, but then didn't do a whole lot in rounds 2 and 3. We'll see how he approaches round 1 after what happened the last time.
Well, so far it looks like Estevan Payan is coming out the aggressor. He's controlling the center of the ring. He's kind of stalking down his prey there in Reyes. Not getting a whole lot off yet, but you got to wonder if he's going to play it a little more conservative, bank that money, go into the final, kind of like Eddie Alvarez did, or if he's going to come out and try to make an impression.
Well, Yahir Reyes hoping to have something to say about that. He's coming off the win over Nick Gonzalez. He was susceptible a little bit to Gonzalez's power, but eventually was able to get Nick to the ground and submitted him soon thereafter.
I'll tell you, if Reyes keeps his hands as low as he's throwing them, you see he keeps dropping his hands to his hips, and Payan's going to connect with the right hand and drop him to the mat. Reyes needs to keep those hands up there, especially when he gets in that striking range. Dangerous to have your back to the fence when you have a guy that's a really good striker like Payan hunting you down. It limits your mobility. You can't really move back, can't move side to side and laterally as much. And you see that Reyes is circling to the left, which is not necessarily something you want to do. You don't want to circle into your opponent's power hand. You want to try to get outside of that lead foot and stay away from it so you're not setting up the momentum going into that. Good leg kick there by Reyes.
Again, if you're just joining us for the first time on Bellator.com, the Bellator Fighting Championships, unlike any mixed martial arts in the United States, fighters control their own destiny here in the tournament. You win, you move on. No promoters or matchmakers getting in the way. You enter the tournament, you win, and you move on.
You see Payan there trying to counter with a right hand when Reyes throws that right leg kick. Both guys here showing a lot of respect for each other. Now we see how it works on the ground. Payan's in on the front headlock. His corner's yelling, get up. There we go, and now he's up. You want to reach for those feet, you kicked in the face.
Couple nice kicks there for the backside. And again, you hear the Lally brothers in the corner telling Estevan Payan to keep this thing standing up, and he backs up.
He's more aggressive. I think that's Trevor Lally.
We'll go with Trevor.
Let's go with Trevor. It's Trevor Lally in the corner there of Estevan Payan telling him to stand up. And, you got to think that he's telling him to be a little aggressive and move forward, which is just what he's done. And so far, Reyes is just kind of looking to counterpunch a little bit. Kind of letting that right leg hang out there when he throws that kick. And I'm going to assume that that right hand is going to connect if Reyes keeps those hands as low as he has when he's throwing that kick. Time will tell.
But clearly the strategy, Jay, for the Arizona Combat Sports Corner, for Payan's corner, is they respect Reyes' jiu-jitsu and don't necessarily want to engage on the ground?
I don't think he needs to engage on the ground. I don't think that Yahir Reyes' wrestling is that much of a threat. I think his jiu-jitsu is probably a little further along with Payan, but that double leg there in kind of deep. Oh, made me a liar right there. Now we got to see the guard of Estevan Payan working a little bit of rubber guard. Tried to bring that foot around the arm of Yahir Reyes to try to set up an Gogo Plata. Or Omoplata, it just really depends on where he's going to finish that with. One thing Arizona Combat Sports has, though, is they do have a great grappling program down there with Gustavo Dantes, former Abu Dhabi competitor. So I'm sure Estevan Payan is getting some great training. You got guys like Jamie Varner, the 155-pound WEC champ, putting Estevan Payan on his back and working out of his guard.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot that he's not going to see here that Reyes is going to throw at him. Good up kicks.
Yeah, solid up kick there for Payan, and trying to find an opportunity to get back to his feet, and he does.
You know, I'm really impressed that Estevan Payan is listening to the corner as well as he is.
Yeah.
You heard, who did we agree it was? Trevor Lally.
Yeah, we're going with Trevor tonight, yep.
We heard Trevor Lally say post up and get up, and so far I got to give this round to Payan, although close one, really close.
Yeah, I would agree, and you know, Yahir Reyes did have some opportunities there in the first round, a close first round. Could have gone either way.
Yeah,
but on the chamber scorecard, it is 10-9 Estevan Payan. Yeah. But a really a chance for these guys to really make a name for themselves in the United States in mixed martial arts. You emerge with the Bellator gold at the end of this tournament, and they'll be talking about you on all the MMA shows, on all the websites, all the underground forums. These guys, I think, both realize what's at stake here.
Yeah, like I was saying before, the 145 pound weight class isn't something we've seen a whole lot of here in the U.S. We kind of have the stars already established in certain classes like 55, 70, 85 on up. But 35, 45, these are kind of open. I mean, it's a newer thing. Only in the last couple of years of the WEC have we seen more of that. A lot of times guys at this weight class had to go to Japan to fight, or they had to move up to 155.
And again, I think we talk so much about the lightweight division and all of mixed martial arts being very deep. It seems like the featherweight division is really starting to round out. Two guys here that could compete at lightweight, but they're able to make the cut. And if you can, why not compete at 145?
Yeah, that's a big cut for Payan. Like I said, walking around at 180, 185 pounds, getting down 40 pounds to his training camp. You hear the Lallies yelling, punch him in the face. Obviously, they just want him to stay active. And I got to say, if the pace stays like this and the fight kind of keeps this momentum going, it's going to go again to Estevan Payan. He's controlling the center of the ring, and he's moving forward while Yahir Reyes is moving backwards.
Yeah, cage control, of course, one of the criteria for the judges. And Yahir Reyes, as you mentioned, he's been backing up the whole fight.
Tried to get in a double leg there.
Yeah, you see his strategy. He does not want to stand and exchange with Estevan Payan.
It's going to be interesting to see if Yahir Reyes is able to finish that single leg he's in on. He's pretty deep in on that single. He needs to yank it in towards him and use his head to dump Estevan Payan onto his right shoulder. But again, Estevan Payan training with some great wrestlers there in Arizona, not letting them have it. Backing away and happy to keep this fight on their feet.
You hear the Payan corner saying he doesn't want to fight in terms of Yahir Reyes. So again, you see him backing up, and I don't think that's necessarily the case, but really hasn't gotten much done here in the first 7+ minutes of the fight. Oh! How about the spinning back fist, Yahir Reyes? How about the knockout there? Look out!
How crazy was
Estevan Payan goes down. We saw it a week ago with Toby Imada's submission, and 1 week later, another moment for Bellator. Yahir Reyes out of nowhere.
I think we're going to have another YouTube video clip coming up here soon. That was a huge spinning back fist that Estevan Payan just walked right into, and clearly Yahir Reyes was losing the first round and the second round and just connected with a beautiful back fist a la Shoni Carter and Matt Serra. Out go the lights of Estevan Payan.
Jason, I've seen a lot of things in my career covering mixed martial arts. I don't know that I've ever seen a spinning back fist result in a direct knockout like that. Of course, the fight that you just mentioned, but up close and personal, unbelievable performance by Yahir Reyes.
Damas y caballeros, este combate concluye de forma dramática con un tiempo oficial de 1 minuto 56 segundos del segundo asalto. Ladies and gentlemen, this bout comes to a sudden and dramatic end with an official time of 1 minute 56 seconds of round number 2. Your winner by way of knockout. And moving on to the finals of Bellator Fighting Championships. Damas y caballeros, el vencedor por knockout y avanzando a las finales de Bellator Fighting Championships, Yahir El Guerrero Reyes.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Francis Ngannou. Subscribe now.